In US admissions, academics come first. Now that you know the big picture of holistic review, we need to zoom in on your academic profile, your grades, the curriculum you've taken, and how US colleges compare different educational systems. Sri Lankan students often wonder, how do my O-levels and A-levels stack up? Should I do SAT subject tests or APs? What about IB? In this module, we'll clarify how to showcase your academic prowess in the US application context. The term GPA, or grade point average, gets thrown around a lot in US admissions. Essentially, it's the average of your grades, typically on a 4.0 scale. Don't worry, US colleges dealing with international applicants are used to different grading systems. You will not be expected to convert your marks to a 4.0 GPA yourself. Instead, you'll submit your official transcripts or your mark sheets from O-level and A-level or year 10 to 13 reports. Admissions officers familiar with Sri Lankan or British curricula will understand the grading. They know an A in A-level is hard to get. Many colleges also have international credential evaluators on staff. What's important is that your transcript shows strong, consistent performance. Top US universities look for students at or near the top of their class. If your school ranks, being among the very top achievers is ideal. If not, they will judge by the actual marks, so try to have mostly A grades or scores above 75 to 80% to be competitive. One challenge: A-level results come out in December typically, which might be after application deadlines. Don't stress. You will apply with predicted grades. Your teachers or principal can provide predicted A-level grades, which UCAS also uses, and your prior exam results, such as O-levels. US schools are familiar with this. Your admission can be conditional on the final A-level results. Or if you've already finished A-levels, you will apply with actual grades. If you have done O-level or A-level exams or IB diploma, that's straightforward for US colleges, since those are internationally recognized. If you've done the local Sri Lankan A-levels, they might refer to equivalency guides. Generally, 3 good Sri Lankan A-level passes are seen as sufficient preparation, just like 3 British A-levels. A tip: if you are in an international school following an American curriculum, you might have a formal GPA and class rank. Use those. If not, some colleges may ask you or the counselor to provide a rough conversion or at least an indication of your rank. For example, first in a class of 50. It's okay if your school doesn't rank. Colleges will glean what they can. Your job is to excel in your context. They will take into account if your school is one of the toughest in the country, etc. US admissions not only look at grades, but also at course rigor. How challenging were the courses you took relative to what was available? In a US high school, this means did you take honors or advanced placement or AP courses if offered? As a Sri Lankan student, think of it this way. If you're in the local system, doing the science stream with combined math, physics, chem at A-level is considered very rigorous. And if you score A's in those, hats off. Commerce or art streams are also rigorous in their own way. What matters is excelling in the subjects relevant to your intended major. An engineering hopeful with an A in combined maths and physics will be looked at favorably. If you're at an international school doing IB, then taking the IB diploma with 3 high levels, ideally in strong subjects, and scoring well is key. IB is highly regarded by US colleges, and a score of 40 plus is excellent. If you're at a school that offers AP exams or you can self-study for APs, a couple of APs with high scores, 4 or 5 out of 5, can underscore your academic strength. APs are not required, but for example, if you did AP Calculus or AP Physics in addition to your A-levels, it might earn you credit in college or just show extra initiative. British curriculum students with 4 A-levels instead of 3, or with further mathematics, etc., demonstrate extra rigor. But again, quality over quantity. Better to have 3 A-levels with stellar results than 4 with mediocre ones. Remember that US colleges will also look at your O-level subjects and grades as part of your academic story, especially since A-level is a smaller number of subjects. So those O-level distinctions in 8+ subjects strengthen your profile, showing you have a solid foundation across the board. If your school doesn't offer many advanced courses, don't worry. US admissions officers evaluate within your school's context. Your counselor or the school profile can explain that. At our school, students take 3 A-levels and no APs are offered or such. Then the college won't expect you to have what wasn't available. They basically ask, did the student max out the academic opportunities at their school? If yes, you get a big check in the rigor box. One more thing. Some Sri Lankan students do SAT subject tests, now discontinued as of 2021, or other extra exams. Don't worry about subject tests. They're no longer a thing. Focus on SAT or ACT general test. Module 6 will cover that. And your school exams. Beyond raw scores, US admissions likes to see an academic story. What does that mean? Maybe you have a spike, like you performed exceptionally in math or science by entering Olympiads, etc. Or maybe you struggled early on but then showed an upward trend. Colleges do appreciate when a student bounces back and does better in later years. In your essay or additional info, you can mention academic projects or reading you've done out of personal interest. That can reinforce your scholarly attitude. For example, if you love astronomy and took the initiative to do an online course or a personal research project, that's something you can mention in applications, in the activities section, or essays. It shows you go beyond the syllabus, a trait US schools love in intellectually curious students. Another example, if your school's curriculum lacked something you wanted, and you sought it elsewhere, like learning coding online since IT wasn't offered, that's worth mentioning. Also, if there were any special circumstances affecting your grades, such as an illness, family issues, or school disruptions, the application has an additional information section where you or your counselor can note this. US colleges will holistically consider context. They know real life happens. It's better they know that, for example, a dip in your grades in grade 12 was because you were preparing for an important national competition or dealing with something beyond your control. Don't be shy to list any academic honors, big or small. US applications usually have an honors section. This could be National Olympiad rankings, winning at all island quizzes, school proficiency prizes, etc. Even if the admissions readers don't know the award, it signals you excelled and got recognition. You can parenthetically explain, for example, island rank 5 in all island biology Olympiad, or top 0.5%. Sri Lanka has some prestigious scholarships like the GCE A-level island rankings, like being a district first or island rank is a huge deal. Absolutely mention it. Or things like the Japanese scholarship exam if you took and placed well. These honors validate your academic strength in a way easily understood. If you don't have fancy awards, don't panic. Most applicants to the US colleges don't have Olympiad medals. Consistently excellent grades are an honor in themselves. You could list grade 11 class first place or school best all-round student in 22, if applicable. Remember, US universities practice holistic admissions, but strong academics are the foundation. As one College Vine guide noted, excellent GPA and scores won't guarantee admission, but they can keep you from being eliminated. Poor academics will significantly hurt your chances unless there were major extenuating circumstances. So take your studies seriously and use your application to highlight your academic achievements and love of learning. Before we move on to tests and other factors, take a moment to evaluate and act on your academic profile. Firstly, fill out a table of your core academic stats. List your O-level subjects and grades, your predicted or actual A-level subjects, and expected or real grades. Any other academic qualifications such as SAT or ACT scores if you have them, AP or IB scores, etc. Seeing it on paper will help you identify strengths and gaps. Secondly, identify 1 to 2 areas to improve or emphasize. Maybe you realize you could benefit from taking the IELTS to prove English proficiency. If your O-level English was a B or you were in singular medium. Or maybe you decide to self-study for an AP exam in a subject you love to show extra rigor. Or simply, if you're in grade 12, you commit to upping your rank by finals. Thirdly, plan to obtain predicted grades or references. Talk to your teachers early about predicted grades if you'll need them for applications. It's good to know what they might predict and ensure they have the info they need to make a fair prediction. And lastly, document any academic competitions or projects. If you haven't already, keep evidence of things like completion certificates, competition certificates, or write a summary of that physics projects you did. This will help you when filling out applications and writing essays, so you don't forget details. Your academic journey is uniquely yours. Even if you come from a school that isn't well known, remember that US colleges are looking for talent everywhere. If you've worked hard to rank high or pursued learning opportunities on your own, that will be noticed. In the next module, we'll demystify the SAT versus ACT, the standardized tests that often accompany your academic record in US applications. We'll decide which to take, if any, given test optional policies, and how to plan for it. So stay tuned. Your path to acing the SAT or ACT, or skipping it smartly, is coming right up.